Alright, hi again everybody, it's Miss Kristen, and just like I talked about in the last video we did about disciples, it is time to make stained glass windows. Okay, so all you need for this craft is a hot glue gun, a pair of scissors, your leftover twine and tissue paper from our last craft, if you have it, and a piece of cardboard that you could find from the recycling bin. So very easy to make this craft. All right, let's get started. Okay, so as you can see, I took my long piece of cardboard and I cut it to the shape that I wanted. Now, I want my stained glass window to be really long and tall, just kind of like a cathedral window, but it can be any size. You could do just a small little circle. You could just do a little square, small rectangle. Any size is fine. It doesn't have to be big. It can be big or small. Really, any type of paper or cardboard that you have in the house works great for this. This just happens to be the particular shape that I picked. So our first step is to pick your shape and cut it to what you want it to look like I did here. Okay? So everybody take a minute and do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by, I'm going to pick like a spot on the bottom. With my scissors, I'm going to cut right into it, right? And I'm going to cut right through that. Now I've kind of made a border, right? So this will be kind of my frame. And I'm going to just cut up to as high as I want. So I'm going to hollow this out. And see, make sure you leave yourself a good frame here, okay? So there's a good amount of space in between so this doesn't get too thin. Okay, now as you can see, I've hollowed out my window here, okay? So now I've got my frame and I've got my body. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to trim the frame exactly how I want it, and then I'm going to cut strips from the body and I am going to glue them to various parts of my frame. So like for instance, I think that this side is a little too wide, so I'm going to trim this down. Okay, now I have cut the frame, it's exactly how I want. Okay, so my frame is done. I'm going to put this aside and I'm going to focus on my body now. I'm going to take this and I'm going to cut strips like so. And I'm going to keep doing that to the whole body. Okay, now I have cut 4 different strips from my body. And what I'm going to do with these strips is I'm going to place them onto my frame in a way that's kind of fun and zigzaggy, right? So I might place them like this. I might actually cut pieces of the body down a little bit to kind of, you know, make it so I can do shorter distances. So I'm going to work on this for a little bit and I'm going to place it in a way that I really like. And once I get that placement, I'm going to show it to you, and then once I kind of get my rough outline, I'm going to cut that down and I'm going to attach it to the frame. Alright, here are my strips laid out across my frame. Okay, so after I laid out my strips across my frame, I hot glued them to where they were, and then I trimmed them down. So now I've got my frame and it's all set up. Now, you can use any type of glue. I happen to have hot glue lying around the house. If you have glue sticks, any type of tacky glue, any type of glue really works. Now, I am now ready to apply my tissue paper. So what I'm going to do is I am going to lay this out, and I'm going to flip it over because I'm going to put the tissue papers on the back side so that you don't see where they combine on the front side. And I'm going to pick the colors that I want. Now I'm going to put different colors in each little piece that I've made. And I'm going to have a base color, which I'm going to say is yellow. And I'm going to pick this yellow color, and I think I'm going to have the most squares be yellow, with other colors in between. So let's see what I want to do. And as I get this kind of ready here, like I think I'm going to put a good yellow here. Actually, I might put yellow at the top. That's a good idea. Now, as you're deciding what pieces you want in your various places, ask yourself this. Now that we've learned what a disciple is today, can we be disciples? Can we be disciples of God as Christians? How do we get to be disciples? And when we do something bad, does that mean we can't be disciples anymore? So ask yourself, how are you a disciple of God? I know one of the ways I feel like I'm a disciple of God is I teach Sunday school. And by teaching others about God's love and about Jesus and about the history of the Bible, I really feel like I can help God, and I can show my faith. And I also try to be a disciple in my everyday life, right? I try to be a disciple when I'm just out in the world, when I'm seeing somebody in need. So if you've ever done anything like volunteering, you're just nice to someone, you help teach the story of God, then you can consider yourself a disciple. Now, it's okay as disciples if we mess up, because what's great is that Jesus forgives us, just like Jesus forgave Judas. So don't worry if you're not the perfect disciple, because it's all about trying. Okay, so after I finished laying down the pieces of tissue paper that I liked, I then glued them to where I liked them. And now as you see, I've got a lot of excess tissue paper. So my next step is to cut all of this extra tissue paper from the window. Now I'm going to keep going on this side. So ask yourself, are you a disciple of God? Do you want to be a disciple of God? And as you go forth in your day, what can you do to be a better disciple of God? I know I want to be a disciple of God. I don't always do it right every time, but I certainly try in my everyday life to be a real disciple that does real work that helps God spread love. Okay, now, okay, perfect. Now, my last step that I'm going to do is I'm going to take the twine that I have, and I'm going to glue it to the back side of my stained glass window so that my stained glass window can hang from the wall. Now I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to show you what my stained glass window looks like again. Okay, so after I attached my twine to my stained glass window, I am holding it up to the light so you can see how pretty it looks when the sun comes through the tissue paper. It looks really pretty, and you can hang it up anywhere you want. Now, if you hang it up against the wall, it might not be as pretty because the sun won't be shining through it. So like I'm holding it up right now because I don't really have a place to hang it, but be thinking about where you might want to hang your stained glass window. Now, of course, What makes this activity so easy is that you can use anything around the house. Like you can see, I just used the leftover tissue paper from our last craft, cardboard that I found from the recycling bin, the leftover twine from our last craft, and a hot glue gun. But you can use any materials to do this. You could paint paper and let the light come through that. You could use black construction paper for the frame. You can make any shape you want. You can use any type of string. So there's lots of options, and any kind of glue will work. So if you have any questions about this craft, or if you think you did a really good job and you want to show me, please send me a picture or question or comment about this craft. Thank you very much, guys.